In this hand from the PokerGO Cup, we get to see if world-class pro Jason Koon can find a hero call on the river for all his money when there are big payout implications in a very, very difficult spot.
What do you have?
And
Eyes look comfy when you bet the river, so that scares me, but I don't think you liked your hand until that. You really have Queen Jack?
Looks like
I
Riordan
have a
C.
3 in my hand. A 3 is a really bad card. You get a base 3 suited, right?
Loving this opportunity, by the way, to get insight into Koon's thought process on the end here.
Oh, I see poker coaching member Steve Zolotow's at the table. Hi, Steve.
I missed
You started with 385?
Queens. But, you know, I mean, I would explain what I was
370,
doing
I think?
and why, but it'll just annoy me.
Plus the ante.
But it wasn't, I knew I was getting good pot odds, but he knew it, and he kept betting anyway, so it just seemed like he must know what he's doing.
Early shots fired by the Eagle, Steve Zolotow, Maria, in reference to some of our critiques, which we tend to be soft-handed about at best, and certainly we have all of the respect in the world for those gladiators who get out in competition and allow us to enjoy some top-level poker, some of which we will certainly see here tonight.
Before the flop, Riordan is the chip leader by a wide margin with 1.7 million, playing 10,000, 15,000 blinds, with most of the other players having either 750,000 or so, or Jason Koon with 400,000. They all have to be hyper aware of not going broke because they really, really, really want to outlast the short stacks, Steve Zolotow, who's sitting with 220,000 chips. So this is a spot where Riordan gets to raise pretty wide. Not like 100% of hands, but definitely way wider than if there were no payout implications at all. So he does open it up with a very strong hand, ace-queen, and Jason Koon makes the easy defend with king 3 of spades. Fine. Flop comes king 5-4, Jason Koon checks, and this is a spot where Riordan's going to want to continuation bet with his entire range for a small size. He's going to actually have more 5s and 4s than he normally would, and obviously he's going to be raising any hand with a king, so this is a great spot for him to bet frequently and small, and just apply a lot of payout implication pressure to Jason Koon. And then on the flop, Jason just has an easy check call. You may say, why not check raise and just get all your money in? Well, what's he going to get all of his money in against? Kings, which he mostly loses to, and high equity draws, which there aren't all that many. So this is not a spot where you want to check raise because when you do get it all in, you're going to be drawing thin or dead with big payout implications. So you definitely do not want that to happen. Also, if you know Riordan's range is perhaps way wider than normal, you want to keep him in with all of his bluffs because hands like Jack 10 or Jack 7 suited are drawing pretty close to dead.
The king high board is in favor of Jason Koon, who defended his big against this ace-queen and flops top pair. A check call of the downsized 20K follow-through from Riordan, and then a second check from Jason on this turn.
let's add Steve to the live game group chat, you know, so he can find us. Bum hunt.
Yes.
Give him that opportunity.
Yes. Come on down, Eagle.
Riordan deciding if he wants to check back or continue to fire, maybe trying to attack some of those weaker middle pair, bottom pairs from the flop.
The turn is an interesting spot for Riordan because he has to figure out if he has a lot of better bluffing candidates in the spot. And I think he definitely does. Any of the gut shots that lack showdown value, like Jack 10 or 8-7 or 7-6 or, you know, any of the gut shots, those are hands that should be way more inclined to bluff than the hands that have a little bit of showdown value like ace-queen. That said, because he is the chip leader and there are big payout implications, it's probably fine to just keep applying a lot of pressure to Jason, especially since Jason will have a decent amount of 5s or 4s in his range that may call a turn bet, but will then fold to a river bet pretty much every time. So I think if Riordan is bluffing here, he's probably over bluffing, but that could be fine, especially with Steve Zolotow sitting there with the shallow stack.
Koon. Again, check call 75,000. Now a 10 of clubs on the river. Queen Jack gets there.
Riordan with that queen in his hand may use it to some effect to try to fire this third barrel in hopes of it getting through. Does look like Koon has a semi-strong hand, but of course, defending from the big blind makes his range a little bit wider, could be a little weaker.
Koon
Unfortunate.
facing a big bet of 245K
King
now.
good. King very good. Other card very bad. Very bad.
We see the river, and after Koon checks, Riordan decides to put Koon all in. Certainly an aggressive line. Probably over bluffing a little bit, but again, it could just be fine, especially if your opponent does not know that you like to overbluff. Now, I don't know how much experience Koon has with Riordan. I imagine they battled online some, so perhaps he does know that Riordan will get after it if he feels inclined. So knowing that, we have to figure out if Koon should make the call. This is a tough spot because one of the bluffs that makes some sense is Queen Jack. That's a hand that would bet the flop and perhaps bet the turn, right, with Queen High and a gut shot, and obviously then shove the river. Also, Koon loses to the better kings, which I think can also go for value. So definitely a tough scenario.
Shot clock, of course, in effect here. Each player provided 6 time banks at the onset.
Doesn't love his kicker, and
Eyes looked comfy when you bet the river, so that scares me. But I don't think you liked your hand until that. You really have Queen Jack?
How can you
Looked
see
right at
anything?
me, didn't you?
Looks like
But I
Riordan
have a 3 in my hand. A 3 is a really bad card. You could have ace-3 suited, right?
blew a bubble.
It's a fun hand to bluff with.
that as well. Just thinking of the fact that he also blocks maybe some potential.
Never fold King Jack. I never
bluffs.
fold
Yep.
King 8. Never fold King Queen.
Loving this opportunity, by the way, to get insight into Koon's thought process on the end here.
Riordan's probably really happy that he has as much coverage as he does. Feels like a little bit longer, Koon might be able to look into his soul.
Yeah.
10 seconds.
Koon mentions that he would rather call with King 8 than King 3 here, and I think you'd rather have King 3. He mentions blockers a little bit. The 3 in Koon's hand really only blocks like Ace-3 suited, maybe like random 4-3 suited. Whereas I think if he had a hand like King 8, that blocks some of the more obvious bluffs that may raise pre-flop, like 8-7 suited, 8-6 suited, maybe even 8-7 offsuit for all I know, right? So whenever you block your opponent's potential bluffs, you should be more inclined to fold with those hands. So I think you'd rather call with King 3 than King 8 in this spot. But anyway, if you know Riordan enjoys bluffing, then you just got to call with any king.
Being expended here.
Those time banks are very valuable, Ali, so the fact that he's taking this much time does make the call.
Nope. That's Queen. Good.
Well worth the investment for Jason Koon, who picks off the chip leader to start his session, and it was a meaningful decision, given that he was 5th in chips.
So after a while, Jason Koon does find the call, and he collects a nice double up. You know what I want to know? I want to know what's the biggest hero call you have ever made deep in a tournament. And then, what I want to know, did it work out? Let me know in the comment section below. Huge thanks to PokerGO for letting us use this footage. I definitely appreciate it. It makes our videos way better, and it gets to show off all the amazing content they have there. Make sure you check out PokerGO and go there and subscribe, because they have all the best poker content. And sometimes I'm even lucky enough to play there. I recently took 2nd place in a tournament, $10,000 tournament. Check it out. That's gonna be it for today. Good luck in your games. Have fun. Make sure you click subscribe and like below so that you do not miss out on any of the content that we have coming out here. We put a lot of work into this content for you, and I want to make sure you do not miss it. Enjoy yourselves, and I hope all your hero calls work out amazingly well.